And I was just like, okay, lipstick. Lipstick is simple. Even if you don't know how to do makeup, you know how to put on some lipstick, even if it's not straight, you know how to just smack it on and go. And you would be amazed on how lipstick just adds that into that look.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, cool. So then I just wanted an array of colors that represented Caribbean, tropical, just fun, just live out loud, bold, and that's where the inspiration came from.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get real answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. My name is Aquia Robinson, and I'm a makeup artist, beauty educator, and the creator of Friends in Beauty. I created Friends in Beauty to support like-minded creatives, just like you, on their quest to connect, network, and build genuine relationships within the beauty community. Join me every week as me and my special guests reveal the keys to success and longevity in the beauty industry, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here with me, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. If you are a friend in beauty, I welcome you to join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community. If you're looking for a community of like-minded, ambitious friends in beauty to virtually connect with, network, and share resources, then click the link down below in the show description to join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community, and I'll be there to welcome you with open arms. Also, follow Friends in Beauty on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty. What I like to do is something called the Friends in Beauty Friday feature, where every Friday I spotlight a different friend in beauty and their accomplishments. So no matter how big or small you think it is, I want to shout you out. I want to send you some good vibes. So all you have to do is use the hashtag FIB Friday feature and tag Friends in Beauty on something that you have accomplished, and I'll share it with the Friends in Beauty community. Additionally, the Friends in Beauty podcast is available on several platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Google, you name it, we are there. And whatever platform you are listening from, I just want to express my gratitude and say thank you so much for tuning into the Friends of Beauty podcast. It means the world to me. And I would love it even further if you took the time to leave a 5-star rating, a review, subscribe, like, comment, share, whatever you have to do to let me know what you feel about the Friends of Beauty podcast would be greatly appreciated. Also, join the Friends of Beauty mailing list tribe. My mailing list is the first to know about all things Friends in Beauty, and I send out different resources throughout the week to help you with your business. So if that's something that you are interested in, the link for that will be down in the show description as well. And last but not least, the most important thing is to share the Friends in Beauty podcast with your other friends in beauty, your family, your friends, anybody that you think could benefit from the information that is being shared. Share a way to help me grow the Friends in Beauty community. Now today, I welcome Kumiko Ming to the Friends in Beauty guest chair. Kumiko is a photographer, businesswoman, and the owner of House of Uni. Founded in 2014, Kumiko, a Caribbean woman, wanted something that would represent her culture. With almost 2 decades under her belt in the beauty and fashion industry, she wanted to create products that embody everything that she loves: travel, Caribbean music, and the unity of people. Starting right from her kitchen is where the Calypso Collection was born. Inspired by everything that the Caribbean has to offer, from the beautiful beaches, the breathtaking scenery, to the rhythmic reggae and calypso music that overtakes your body, House of Uni is your passport to paradise through a tube of lipstick and other self-care essentials. I had such an amazing time talking to Kumiko. I felt like I was chatting with one of my homies for real. I feel like we've known each other for such a long time. We had such an honest and open conversation about the beauty and fashion industry, the real behind being a businesswoman and operating multiple streams of income, the importance of having a solid support system, and she even shared some tips for those of us friends in beauty that want to start our own product line. And what I love most is how she found her love behind the camera and the process of getting House of Uni up and running. So I don't want to hold you back any further. Let's go ahead and jump into this amazing interview with Kumiko Ming. Enjoy. Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, Kumiko.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm so excited to chat with you today to learn more about you and everything that you have going on. But before we jump into the interview, I want to start off with some icebreaker questions so the friends and beauty community to, get to know you a little bit outside of the world of beauty, I guess.
Okay.
All righty. So give us 3 random facts about you.
I'm a Pisces. I'm from the Caribbean, and I used to play the drums.
Ooh, like a drum set?
Drum set.
That's really cool. I always wanted to learn how to play the drums. Always, always. Where are you from in the Caribbean?
Jamaica, to be exact.
Okay, you were born there?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. My father's from Jamaica. He's from Trelawney.
Oh, okay. Spanish town here, St. Catherine.
Okay. Do you
I
have
see
any hidden?
we have something in common. Okay.
We do.
Yeah.
So, like when I was sent your information and I read, everything about you, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun because we have a lot of stuff in common from the stuff that I was reading, Carnival and Soca and, all of that.
Oh, okay. So a fellow carnival junkie.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'm
Okay.
obsessed with Carnival. I've done Trinidad Carnival 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't done Trinidad yet. Like my best friend's trying to get me to do it next year, and I was like, we'll see. I
Yes.
don't know if I can handle like Trinidad Carnival is the carnival of all carnivals.
It's the best time in the world. Like I always recommend everybody in life should go to Carnival in Trinidad at least one
I'm
time.
just thinking of the height though, because we talking about like I've done Bahamas Carnival, I've done a few other islands, and see, it's not like Miami
Mm,
where you just go around the little park or anything. It's like we talking about mountains and hills, and
yep.
so I'm kind of scared, but I'm
It's
gonna do it one day.
you gonna do it. Yes. So next icebreaker. Do you have any hidden talents that no one knows about?
Hidden talent. No, I'm still discovering them every day, to be honest with you, because every day I amaze myself and I think that, okay, like, oh, I can actually do this and I'm actually good at it. Like, even
Mhm.
with photography, like, I had no idea I
Yeah.
could even do it until I picked up a camera and then magic appeared and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
You're right.
So
Right.
there's none that I really can think of at the
Cool.
moment.
So I have these things called pod decks, and they just have like random questions in it. So I have a would you rather deck, and I have a what the heck deck. Which one do you want?
What the heck? Come
What
on
the heck?
now. Right. We might as well. What the
If we
heck?
having some crazy stuff in here. Let me
I mean,
see.
that's what I said. We gonna go for it. Let's just go for it.
Let's see. Let me shuffle it. Random pick. This is a cool one. I like this. So, have you ever had a this can't be happening moment? And if so, what was it?
I guess we could. Yeah, I have. I I had one recently. I was in DR, Dominican Republic,
Mm-hmm.
working on my latest project, and I really had to take a minute to sit and to look around and to look at where I was and what was happening. And I literally started crying and talking to my ancestors. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just like showing gratitude because
Yeah.
it was definitely a what the heck. It was like, I'm actually doing this. Like, I
Yeah.
am here. This is happening. So
Yeah.
definitely had a what the heck moment.
Yeah. I think I had something similar happen. I went to just vacation. I went to Mexico in March, and I love being like, I read your thing. You love being on the beach. I love being by the water and everything. So when I was in Mexico, I really had a moment of like, and I was doing a little bit of work too. I was like editing the podcast and trying to put out YouTube videos. I'm like, hold up for a moment. I was like, you were really like living the life that you're like trying to manifest. Like you're working from a different country. You're like literally on the beach, looking at the water, and it was just like, this is awesome. So I always think it's so important to like pause for a second to realize those moments because sometimes we just like go, 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 go. And we don't even realize like we're
And it's
living like the moments that we've been asking for. So that's cool.
right. And it's funny that you said that because that's been a big thing for me, especially this year and moving forward, is like living in that moment. Because just like you said, I'm usually that person that I'm just like, all right, what's the next thing? All right, what's the next thing? And I don't really take the time to be like, wow, you actually did this. Like, this
Yep.
is a big deal. And people are just like, I'll just say it. And people just say, oh, you just say things like it just rolls off the back of the tip of your tongue like it's no big deal. And they're like, it's a huge deal. And I'm like, I guess it is.
Yeah.
So I told myself, I said, definitely living in the moment, appreciating those things. So I definitely can relate to that.
Yep. Yep. What do people always tell you that you're good at, aside from photography and
You are stumping me with these questions. What do people say? I guess being not being biased. Like I tend to be the person that people come to talk to the most about their problems, and they say I'm good at problem solving because I'm all about always finding solutions to
Yeah,
problems rather than dwelling in the problems.
that's cool. That's a good trait to have. Definitely.
Sometimes, because then there's times where you're just like, office closed, like I'm
Hmm.
done. And people are just like, no, but just one more thing, and it's like, oh my gosh, you guys are. I need to refuel. Like I can't.
Boundaries.
Right. It is getting people to understand those boundaries.
Yeah, for sure. What's a place that you travel to that's like one of your favorites?
Kenya,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Where'd you go? Did you go to Giraffe Manor?
of course,
Oh
you,
my
you
God.
can't. You can't go to Kenya without going to Giraffe Manor.
I
Like
want that's like on my bucket list so bad.
well, just let me know when you're ready, because I have family that actually lives. They went, built a house, set up shop. So, yeah, it's a
That's amazing.
gorgeous 7 bedroom, 7 bathroom house. Yeah.
That's
So just let me
amazing.
know when you're ready and we can catch that flight. And
Yes. That's exciting. Okay. So last one, if you weren't a photographer, brand owner, what could you see yourself doing?
well, here's the weird thing. I was, before I am who I am, I have or had, I still don't know where I fall with that. I would probably be an obstetrician
Ooh.
because right, which is completely far left to what it is that I am doing. But
Mhm.
before I embarked on this journey, I've always had a love for obstetrics and always wanted to be a doctor.
That's cool. That's totally different.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. I think I learned like so much about you in like that short amount of time. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, yes. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I want to know, who is Kumiko Ming? Who are you?
Good question. I'm still trying to figure this out day by day, especially after this pandemic. I'm doing a
Uh-huh.
whole soul searching of who are you and what is it that you're trying to do. Who is Kamiko? Kamiko is chill, laid back, good vibes, and yeah, just all about good vibes, positive energy, making memories, having fun. And because I understand that life is short,
Mm-hmm.
and to me, if it's something that I want to do, I'm going to do it because tomorrow's not promised to anyone. So yeah, good vibes. Oh, and moody. I can be a little moody. But I don't like to look at it as moody. I look at it as my moment that I need to recharge.
Uh-huh.
So that boundaries thing that we were talking about. But yeah,
Do you
that's
get like quiet when you get moody?
yeah. The thing is, I'm never mean, but I do have a quiet, like, and here's another thing that's weird that people don't realize. I'm actually kind of shy, which
Mm-hmm.
is hard for some people to understand, but it's like I can turn on when I need to turn on, but then most of the time I'm just chill. I'm very observant. Like I could be
Yeah.
in the room and you wouldn't even know
Yeah.
because, and me not talking doesn't mean that I'm mad. It's just sometimes I'm just in my thoughts. I'm just in my own world. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
doing my own thing. And I think people mistake that for moodiness because
Right.
if you're not on the same vibration as they're on, then it's like, well, what's wrong with you? And it's like, nothing. I'm chilling. So
Yeah.
it's like if they're hyped, you should be hyped. And it's like, oh, I'm in chill mode right now.
Yeah. I asked that question because my boyfriend is a Pisces. So I noticed that like
You
when
set me
he's
up.
when he's in like deep thought or like he's really contemplating something or trying to go to the next level with something, he just kind of like retreats in himself. And it took me a while to realize like what's wrong with him, like because I'm not always like upbeat, but I'm like for the most part like
What's
always
your
happy
sign?
and stuff. So I'm like,
What's your sign?
I'm an Aquarius.
My bestie's an Aquarius. Okay. See, I knew I liked you. When's your
Yeah.
birthday?
February 4th.
Oh, so we're both February babies because mine's the
Mm-hmm.
28th.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So Aquarius, you are right because she she's always happy. She's always chipper. She's like, good morning. And how you doing? And I would just be like, hey,
Yeah.
like,
Mm-hmm.
right. And it's like, what's wrong with you? But the thing is, we understand each other so well that it's weird. It's like we're so different, but we're so much alike.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that respecting the boundaries thing. So it's like it's one of those things. Well, I'm sure you understand. Like
Yeah.
your boyfriend's a Pisces,
Yeah, I
so
had to learn that.
right. And of course, with her, it's we've been best friends for like 26 years.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like my sister I grew up with. So I think just over time of growing up, you just kind of learned all of that stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You look like you're 26, so you've been friends since you all were babies.
I'm actually not 26, but I'm flattered. Thank you. Like, no, I'm in my early 30s,
Oh,
but
you
thank you.
girl.
Right. Thank you. Black don't crack.
I get that
But
the same. I get the same thing. So growing up in Jamaica, like when did you come to the States?
well, I first was on a plane at 3 weeks old.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of been back and forth until about the age of 5 and just kind of been here.
Yeah. How was the dynamics of your family growing up? Do you have any siblings and stuff?
Do I have siblings? Yes, I have. There's my mom's side and there's my dad's side. And my dad's side, we're all scattered.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say that. But on my mom's side, yeah, I have two younger brothers.
Okay. Yeah. I have a lot of siblings on my father's side. We all know
Yeah,
each other, but we are like not in the same like location, but we all know, we're familiar with one another. But I have an older sister, and then on my father's side, I have 6 brothers and 4 sisters.
right. See, that I knew you would kind of understand. That's why I just said we're kind of scattered. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know technicalities of the number, but I just know we're abundant.
Yeah. And side note for people that are listening or watching on YouTube, if you hear any noise or you see something rumbling back there, because I just can't control the kitten. I have a kitten that is going wild right now, so I can't keep stopping and trying to regulate, but let her do her thing. So growing up as a child, were you a creative?
I guess, yeah, to a point, because I did a little of everything. I played the drums, I played soccer, I did taekwondo,
Mm-hmm.
I was the captain of the dance team. I've just always been into something.
Yeah. Yeah. So where did your interest in like the beauty world come in to play?
So what happened was at the sweet age of 13, um, I think I had a come to Jesus moment with myself. And when I thought about being a doctor, and it was something about like when taking the board, and they were like, you're going to be in this room and you're going to have all these cameras watch you.
Mm-hmm.
And all I could think of is, so if I don't pass, I lose all that money. And it was like, yeah, you got to take it all over again. And for some reason, at the age of 13, that scared me. And the thought of being up all night writing a whole book, I was just like, I can't do that. And a lot of
Yeah.
people would be like, oh, you can do anything that you put your mind to. And I'm like, no, there's just some things that we just can't do. Like we try to hype ourselves that we can do it, but we know we can't do it. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, yeah, let me just go on to the next thing. And then because I am quiet, but I'm very expressive, for some reason, it's just like modeling just kind of fell into my lap. And I just looked at it as a way of not really having to communicate verbally, but I could show the many different sides of who I am.
Yeah.
And from that, it just, like, the rest was just history. It just kind of fell into my lap. And I was just like, okay, I think my first stop was Barbizon Modeling School
Mm-hmm.
and John Casablanca, and went there, did the whole little show of, and they, oh my gosh, we love you, but for the right price of a whole bunch of money that should nobody be paying, because if you like me, why am I paying this money?
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, I'm not paying this. And
I
then from
remember
that,
Barbizon being like a big thing back in the day.
right, everybody went to Barbizon
Yeah.
because it was like the thing that you just did, because no one else knew where to really start. And then
Mm-hmm.
from that, Model Mayhem, I don't know if you're right. Model
Yes.
Mayhem that's pretty much where it was just on and popping for me. Just eventually just did like little local stuff here and there. And then as I got older, I joined the site and just started networking with different photographers and
Mm-hmm.
people. And that's where I did most of my networking from.
Nice. Where are you based?
Currently, I'm in Florida,
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah,
Tampa, Florida.
I remember Model Mayhem when I first started doing makeup. That was like the go-to site for, networking or, just collaborating. People would reach out to me on there all the time. And that's where I got like some of my early work as a makeup artist, just people reaching out, needing, TFP work and stuff like that.
Right.
That's really cool. How long did you model for?
Over 12 years. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Did you get to do any exciting things that, stand out to you?
Well, I was a full-time model. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I traveled, did runways, did magazines, so it's like I actually was like a paid model.
Yeah.
Photographers would fly me out, people would fly me out to do different fashion shows. So yeah,
Yeah. How was your overall experience as a model?
just like anything else, it has its good moments and it
Mm-hmm.
has its bad moments.
Yeah.
Um, but for the most part, because I was really passionate about it and I loved what I was doing, I would say the good outweighed the bad.
Yeah. So how did photography come in? How did you transition from modeling into photography?
So what happened was, when I modeled, pretty much I modeled before I was considered a plus model, even
Mm-hmm.
though back then I wasn't really big, but for the modeling industry,
Right.
that's when the biggest size was like a size 6.
Yeah.
So, and I think I was a 14.
Mm-hmm.
So I was considered plus size. And it wasn't like what it is today in terms of, the Ashley Grahams and, the bigger names that are out there. And this is still like around the era of kind of when America's Next Top Model was there. So this is kind of like before the Takara and all of that
Okay.
stuff. So I
Yeah.
went through a lot of like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty, you should be a model, or you're a model, and having to educate people on stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So I didn't plan to model forever. And then I was in the era before IG models. So then once IG models came on board and everyone's paying an exposure, then that's where the
Mm-hmm.
competition kind of came into, because it's like, well, why should I use you when homegirl over here is willing to do it for free?
Right.
So I was like, okay, industry is becoming a joke now to me. And I was like, I have a long list of things that I want to do. So um, I just pulled out my list, and lipsticks, cosmetics was on it. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, do you know anything about lipsticks? And I was like, no, other than you wear it. So I started researching it, buying my beeswax, my micas, my pigments, my essential
Mm-hmm.
oils. And I was in the kitchen just mixing up. And kind of fast forward a little bit, photography came into play because I was getting ready to shoot my first campaign. And I hit up all my photographer friends. Everybody was busy. So I borrowed a friend's camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a cousin who's a celebrity stylist out in LA. She came in. My best friend was my behind the scenes. I had like 10 models, one makeup artist, which is crazy. Looking back at it, I'm like, clearly I needed more makeup artists, but I was just like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a breeze. It's gonna be fine. And I just pointed and shot, and my cousin was like, oh my gosh, you're really good. I might have to like fly you out to LA and hire you. And just through shooting, I just impressed myself. And then I had another friend who was like, yo, your stuff is like really good. Like you should put it out there. And I'm like, no, but I'm so scared. And eventually I just like put it out there and people were like, you're a photographer? And it's like, yeah, for the last 5 years. And then
Yeah.
it just took off. So I stumbled into, so it goes back to like one of the first things we were talking about finding out like creative things and talents that you didn't know. And that was one of them. I just used what I thought made sense. And I knew the light is your friend.
Yeah.
So as long as the sun is hitting you, and I just know, I guess I know angles, and it worked. I guess it's just
Yeah.
one of those God-given talents.
Yeah, I was gonna say, first of all, it came out of a necessity because you needed to take your own pictures, for your brand, and then you had the experience as a model, so you kind of had an eye for it. You knew how
Right.
things, should look overall. I love that because I think sometimes we try so hard, and it could be like the simplest thing. It really just
Right.
came out of necessity, and that's how I think I'm feeling right now. I think that a lot of people don't know that I used to have cameras all the time. One time I was telling somebody a story and I was like, that I can remember back to when I was like 14 and I always had a camera of some sort, always taking pictures. So I'm always surprised that I didn't do photography first and then do makeup. But now I
Mhm.
find myself like returning back to the things that brought me joy as a child. So now I'm getting back into like learning photography and stuff like that. So it's so weird. But I feel the same way. Like sometimes you just need things done right now. And sometimes photographers aren't available, or you might not get what you need or how you want it to look. So you got to pick up that camera and
Right.
start
And
taking
just
pictures for
snap,
yourself.
snap, right. And
Mhm.
figure it out as you go along. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah. Was that transition easy for you? Like going from modeling to photography?
It was because I think I was, at that point, I was done with modeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think my fans weren't done with me modeling,
Yeah.
because I actually had an international fan base. And even to this day, every now and then I'll get a, hey, when are you gonna step in front of that camera? And I'm like, it's been how many years? Like, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
I like being behind the camera. And so I think like I was just done and I was ready for the next thing, because we all know, unless you're Naomi Campbell, you don't have, like, models don't have that long of a lifespan. You start very young. By the time you get like late 20s, early 30s, you're considered old in the industry because you start, well, that was actually then. Now
Yeah.
it's different. Now it's just, we
So
just do
so much
what we want.
variety now.
Right. Like now
Yeah.
there's just no rules. Back then it was still like strict rules. This is what it was like. You have to look like this to do this, because especially plus size back then was commercial. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, why I gotta be JC Penney and Sears? Like I want to
Yeah.
do all the stuff that the skinny girls are doing too. And I kind of try to separate myself with that by not just limiting myself to commercial stuff. I did glamour, I did fashion, I
Mm-hmm.
did whatever I wanted to do and I made it look good. So yeah, I think I was just done with that
Yeah.
part of it. It was like, all right, I've been doing this for over 12 years. What's next?
Yeah. So would you say your identity wasn't tied to like being a model? That's why you were
No,
able.
I feel like it was the start. And it did what it needed, what I wanted it to do. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
it to introduce myself to the world, but I also didn't want it to be the only thing I was known for.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, and then I had my tagline was the Jamaican Bombshell.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people would be like, hey, Bombshell. And that's where the KM Bombshell kind of tied into play. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
like I still wanted to pay homage to where it started, because I got that from modeling. But then it's just like, all right, I'm more than the Jamaican Bombshell. Let me introduce you to the other stuff that I do.
Right, right. So what kind of photography do you specialize in now?
Swimwear, glamour, artistic nudes, fashion,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of beauty, not so much, but I
Yeah.
like things that are challenging and different. So just like it goes with my moods, because sometimes I'm just like all into fashion. I'm just like, I just give me fashion, give me this. And then I'm just like, I love women and like sex appeal and women just showing how sexy they are. Because to me, like the body is an amazing, especially as a woman, like our
Mm-hmm.
bodies are banging no matter what size, shape. And so it's like I fall in love with that. And it's not just about like, oh, look at my big butt or look at my titties. It's like still being classy and elegant, but still showing that sex appeal. And because I love the beach, I'm
Yeah.
always down for some swimwear, any shot at the beach. So it really just goes on my mood, on what I'm feeling.
Got you, got you. So are you a Nikon girl, Canon girl, or none of the above?
I'm a Canon.
Okay. Yeah, I have a Canon. I'm trying to, I'm learning shooting on manual mode and stuff like that. But yeah.
Once you get into that, you never go back to automatic.
Yeah, I know that's right. So what are some essentials would you say that you have in your photography bag that you feel like you always grab for it gets the job done every single time if somebody's like a new photographer?
My 50 millimeter lens. That is my, I'm now like trying to, since the whole pandemic, I'm like trying to push myself out from it, but it has never failed me. Like I had gotten that lens in
Mhm.
a 24 millimeter, and I barely even use the 24. Like I always go to my 50 because I just feel like it makes everything just look so great. And even other photography friends will be like, you shot this with a 50? And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
shot it with a 50. And they're like, huh, I might need to revisit my 50. But I feel like even for a newbie,
Hmm.
if you a 50 millimeter, like it's amazing because it blurs out the background. It makes the object like pop, and
Yeah.
I love it. I love a nice blurred background.
Nice. Are you a full-time creative?
Sure.
Hmm.
Because I just kind of figured out who I am. Because since I do so much, I was trying to find like I was like, what am I? Who am I? And I was like, I don't really like entrepreneur. I feel like it's so vague. Like, no offense to anybody, but it kind of
Yeah.
gives me like starving artist vibes. Like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. It's like, oh, so you don't do anything. Oh, okay, cool. So then I kind of thought about it and I was just like, what am I? And then when I thought about it, I was like, you're a businesswoman. And even though that's still kind of vague, I feel like it opens up the conversation
Hmm.
of, well, what kind of businesses? And so, yeah, I would say I'm a full-time businesswoman slash creative.
Yeah. So what kind of businesses do you have? I know you have, is it House of Uni? Is
Yes,
it
it
Uni?
is uni.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know House of Uni. What other businesses do you have?
Well, I actually have a rum punch business, right? That I've
Ooh.
partnered up with my mom, jam flavored. So we have like four flavors, tropical mango, one called Beg You Some, which is like a concoction of like three or four different alcohols, and then we have sorrow, because you can't go wrong with sorrow.
Yes.
And so that's one business. And then I'm also working on a juice bar, juice and smoothie bar in Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also this summer I'm launching my luxury Airbnb business in Dominican Republic
Mm-hmm.
and also working on a recovery house. So for people who travel down there to do surgeries and stuff like that, pretty much it's like a home away from home so they can recover from those surgeries.
I love that. That's a lot. That's all awesome things.
Right. So that's why when you said that, like, are you a full-time creative? It's like,
Yeah.
I guess, like, I guess those could be categorized creatives. That's just like, I'm a businesswoman.
Yeah. So with the rum punch, do you ship?
Oh, girl, I got you. Trust me.
Ooh,
I will. Of course, I'm gonna send you some.
I want to
You ain't gonna
try.
ask. Of
I want to
course.
try. So with the House of Uni, what was your inspiration behind creating that brand?
Being a Jamaican, being a Caribbean islander, I'm always like even the rum punch. It's called jam flavor, which is short for Jamaican flavor.
Hmm.
So it's like I'm so into my roots and my culture that, and I feel like everyone loves us because we're just so amazing. So I just
Hmm.
feel like we don't have that many things that represent us. That's like a FUBU or for us by us type of thing. So um that was a true inspiration. It's just staying true to my culture. And when I did lipsticks, the reasons why I did lipsticks, I didn't want to do a full on cosmetic line because I didn't want to
Hmm.
get into the technicalities of matte and oily and combo skins and undertones. And I was just
Right.
like, that's just a lot. And I was just like, okay, lipsticks. Lipsticks is simple. Even if you don't know how to do makeup, you know how to put on some lipstick, even if it's not straight, you know how to just smack it on and go. And you would be amazed on how lipstick just adds that
It
to that
does.
look.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, cool. So then I just wanted an array of colors that represented Caribbean, tropical, just fun, just live out loud, bold. And that's where the inspiration came from.
I love that. I'm a lipstick girl. Even though I'm a makeup artist, like this is pretty much how I look most of the time. And what changes is probably like a lash and my lips. Like I
Right.
love changing, like, cause I agree with you. Like lipstick is just one of those things that it just transforms you. Like I could put on the same color you have on right now, and it would be a totally different look.
Right.
So I love lipstick for that.
And I just love the fact that you can be pale, fair, medium, dark. And like you said, it's the same color, but it's like I'll find myself falling in love with it over and over again every time I see the colors on different people because it's like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. Oh, and then especially if it's a chocolate girl and then you
Yes.
see that pop of color, I'm just like, yes, melanin, okay, like, ooh, I just love
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. What was your process like for developing the lipstick line? Because I know you mentioned you in the kitchen, whipping it up.
Right.
So did
And
you like take a course or something like that? Like watch YouTube, or you just kind of went for it?
Google, I just said, well, what's in lipstick?
Mm-hmm.
Went on Google because they used to call me like the queen of Google. Anything I want to know, I hop on Google and figure it out. And that's what I did. I just looked up what the ingredients were and I just figured, same thing with photography, this can't be this hard. And I mixed it
Mm-hmm.
and I had these little tubes and I was like, oh my gosh, I made lipstick. And at the time I was trying to be extra, so I wanted like scented lipstick. So I
Mm-hmm.
had like coconut and buttercream and all of this type of stuff. And then I was like, okay, I probably need to tone it down because someone may like the scent, someone may not like it. And I was like, I don't want the focus to be on the scent, but
Mm-hmm.
the product itself. And then my mom was just like, you're crazy. What happens if this blows up? And so said, so done. It blew up. And I'm like, who sent you? How'd you know this was going to happen? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to, because I literally was in there pouring into my little lipstick mold, putting it in the fridge to harden. Like it was a whole process. And then I
Yeah.
had to just get a manufacturer. We teamed up, we did the whole back and forth until we perfected what it is that I wanted. And then now I have someone who can mass produce my stuff for me.
That's awesome. I love that. Because that answers one of the questions I was going to ask you. Because I know a lot of people when they want to start doing brands and stuff like that, they always go like the private label route. So you kind of went the route of actually like developing like your own product.
Because I feel like anything that I'm going to put my name and my stamp behind, I at least need to be educated about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
nothing's wrong with private label because celebrities, everybody does it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool. But for me, it's like, I want to be confident that when I'm speaking about my brand, like, I actually know what it is about my brand. I want to
Mm-hmm.
know about, like, because especially when I started, it was like borderline of cruelty free versus non-cruelty free. So it was like that transition into the cruelty free phase where everybody's like, is your stuff cruelty free?
Yeah.
And then most people be like, I don't know, hold on. Let me hit up my private label and see whatever. But because I knew what was in my product, it'd be like, yeah, these products are, these products aren't, type
Mm-hmm.
of thing. So I just think it was just very important for me to just know what I'm selling.
Yeah. What makes a product cruelty free or not? I always thought like if it was tested on animals or something, then it was like,
No, animal byproduct. So for
uh,
instance, in because they actually would use like beetles, crushed beetles, right, for like red lipsticks and stuff like that. So sometimes they would use like actual insects in it. And
what?
that's what I'm saying. We wear a lot of stuff and have no idea what we're putting on our face. So like I have a very few products that aren't cruelty free. And what makes
Mhm.
them not cruelty free is they have lanolin in them. And what lanolin is pretty much like the oil from the sheep wool, the sheepskin.
Okay.
And as disgusting as it sounds, it actually has some benefits to skin and moisturizing and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
probably have like 5 colors that are like that, but then everything else just doesn't have any animal byproduct.
Got you. Got you. So what was the moment for House of Uni that kind of like catapulted everything, would you say?
I mean, a big moment I would definitely say is being featured on Insecure with
Mhm.
Issa Rae. Um, that's just one thing that will always go down in history to be the first a part of it, like that I think is big in itself. So yeah, especially like because we were a part of the series for the first 2 seasons.
Mhm.
So even in the pilot, like, are you familiar with
Oh
Insecure?
yeah, I watched that show. Yeah.
The first episode when she's in the bathroom putting
Mm-hmm.
on the lipstick when she's about to go out before she wipes off everything and puts on,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's House of Uni product that she's wearing
Nice.
and trying on. So that was definitely a big moment for
How
us.
did that happen?
God and that cousin that I told you, that celebrity, because we work as a team, as a
Yeah.
family, and while she was there styling and everything, they were just like, hey, this is something they were looking for, a lipstick line, and they didn't want like the regular lipstick lines. They didn't want like the MAC and whatever, because what was unique, especially, was the casing. They
Okay.
didn't want a lipstick line that had black casing. So while they were there talking about stuff, she heard it and she was like, hey, I actually know of a line that's unique. And she hit me up and she was like, hey, send me a whole bunch of stuff. And I was just like, cool, say less. Sent it. And she was like, they love it. They love the fact that it wasn't a black case, that it had fun colors.
Mm-hmm.
And from since then, after it was in the pilot, they like tested it out, loved how that came out. And then they just used it on the whole cast for the next 2 seasons.
That is so bomb. Congratulations on that. That's really awesome. That's so bomb. What kind of marketing strategy do you have for your brand? Because it seems like it's for a specific type of, woman.
Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram has been what has made me who I am. And I try to stay true to it because I feel like it's one of those places that you can reach so many people just from the comfort of your phone, your tablet, your
Yeah.
whatever. So it's like, to me, it's like, why work harder when you could work smarter? And then now with
Mm-hmm.
all this technology and you can specify things and do target audience and demographics, it's, yeah, like Instagram has been it really for me.
Yeah. Do you have a team? Because you have a lot going on.
Slowly. So that's another thing that a lot of people didn't know too, is that for at least the first 5 years of House of Uni, it was all me. I was shipping, receiving, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like I told myself, like, hey, you can't do everything yourself. And it's not that I even wanted to do everything myself. Sometimes, especially like when you have a passion or your baby, it's hard
Yeah.
to find other people who treat your baby how you would treat your baby and care because like like we're talking about in the beginning, I would be up to like 2, 3 a.m. and would only get 2 hours to sleep because I'm doing orders, I'm doing this, and like I was like printing out my own labels, sticking them on. Like I did everything
Yeah.
myself in the very beginning. And it's just like the trust. Sometimes you would ask people and people would just be like, I don't want to do that. And it's like, okay, well, you have an option. I don't. Like, this is my thing. So, all right, you guys have fun. I'll just be here slaving away for my
Mhm.
brand. But now it's, and then, like when people finally see that things are starting to happen, now everybody was like, where was you
Yeah.
when I was shooting in the gym? Like now we at All-Star Weekend, you want to be here. So you have a lot of those people. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now I definitely have a team, especially with all my DR stuff. I have an assistant, I have office managers. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I always keep forgetting this. Another business that I have is a hair business. I had a hair business in DR, where it's like Indian temple hair. So it's like hair straight from India, from the temple. Right. And right, I don't know why I keep forgetting that. I guess because I have all the other stuff coming up, I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was also, and I guess because I was talking about the assistant, the office manager, he was the office manager for the store because we work closely with like the salons and we were the suppliers for
Mm-hmm.
the salons down there. So yeah, I definitely have to have a team now because things are just, it's just blowing up too quickly.
Yeah, yeah. That's where I am now. I'm one of those people that, like you said, it's your baby. So it's not that I want to do everything, but it's just kind of sometimes easier to just do it myself. And
And
just
you
because
know
I
how
know
you like it.
and I
Right.
know
You
how
know
I
what you
like
want.
it. Yeah. So I won't say I'm a perfectionist, but it's just like I know how I want certain things. And it's hard to find people sometimes that's going to deliver at that same rate or better sometimes. So I'm learning how to kind of like,
Let go.
yeah, let go. How do
Well,
you manage everything though? Because like for me, I want to be that boss that has like the Airbnbs and the Turo and this, but like I get in my head before I even start with like how am I going to manage all of this? Do you think it comes down to just having people in place to do
no,
everything?
trust me, as together as people think I am, I'd be having anxiety attack, panic. That crying moment in
Mm-hmm.
DR, that was that. Trust me, the first 2 days, I was stressed as hell. And my boyfriend was just like day 3, I had made up my mind. I said, it's above me now. I need to relax. I
Mm-hmm.
worked too hard. I need the beach. I went and we ate. I made sure I drank. And he was like, this is the most relaxed that I've seen you since you've been here. And I was like, yes, because I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
like like you said, in your head, yes, I'm tired of being in my head.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know. That's why I cried and
You
I
need to
gave thanks
release
to
it.
the ancestors
Yeah.
because, and that's why I had to show gratitude because a lot of times I have no idea. I'm always just going, going, going. And it's not until I actually have a moment to stop. I'm just like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you were really doing it. I really don't know how I do it. I just do it. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't know. And I do get in my head, I overthink, but I try to surround myself with people who I know complement me and my personality. So the times when I do have those panic attacks or anxieties and I'm freaking out or self-doubt or this and that, it's like people who can get me together and keep me on track. Because even
Mm-hmm.
like so many people wanted to come with me to DR, and I was just like, no, I'm bringing him. And people were like, oh, it's a vacation. And I'm like, it's not even that.
Yeah.
Oh, fun fact, we're born on the same day. So he's
Oh.
right, one of my birthday twins, but we still, so it's like kind of dealing with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And for him, he's very good at interior. He's a creative too, very good with decorating interior, all this stuff. So really his purpose of coming was I wanted him to handle all of that. I'm like, you choose the curtain, you figure out how it's supposed to look. I don't want to do all of that, because if I do that, I'm gonna have a whole panic attack and get into myself. And sometimes I'm team too much, because as a creative, you know, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do all this type of stuff. And sometimes he's just like, nah, you don't need to do all that. Just
Right.
do this. And then I'm like, you know what, you're right. That just makes so much more sense. But then I get caught up in the moment and I'm like, I want glitz and glamour and this and that. And he's just like, nah. So it's surrounding people. Sometimes I even call my best friend. And even with photography, sometimes I would have a panic attack with that, because it's so many good pictures. And I'm like, I can't edit all 50. And then I'm like hyperventilating. She's like, relax, calm down, let me go through them, let me pick. So a support system is really necessary, because that's the only way I keep going, because I wouldn't have made it this far without these people.
I love that. Where does this grind come from? This grind that you have doing all of these business ventures.
I was literally born with it,
Mm-hmm.
because even when I started modeling, like even in school, I've always just been an overachiever. Like I had my first job at 13.
Mm-hmm.
I was a cashier at Winn-Dixie. I remember, like, as soon as 15 came, I wanted my permit. My mom was just like, no, you're gonna make my insurance go up. And I'm like, that sucks for you. I'm getting my permit. I found my way to my 4-hour class. You know, on my birthday, woke her up like, hey, I set this appointment. I need your signature. Like, let's
Yeah.
do this. And I just always had it in me. I've just always been about success and money, and I just always knew I didn't want to work for anybody. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just something I was just born with. Even in school, I graduated early. I did like I was doing online before online. So that's also another thing is when I was 13, I was sick and I had ovarian cysts and stuff like that. And it was preventing me from going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I would miss like 2 weeks of school, only go back for 2 days. So I was in so much pain, couldn't. And then right when I was about to do surgery, it popped, it vanished.
Wow.
And it was just like, okay, but then I had fibroids growing right after and had no idea until like almost 10 years later is when I
Wow.
found out. So then they recommended that I do online schooling. And it was like, it's a brand new program, this and this and that. And I actually did really well, because the part of me that gets kind of quiet and not really mixed with others, it allowed me to work at my own pace, just knock things out. I was doing that, doing dual enrollment, so doing college courses and going to a technical center and still working a regular job. So I was doing 3 different
Wow.
schoolings plus working at like 16. And by the time I graduated with my associates, 3 certifications, high school diploma. And even then, my mom would just be like, girl, you're doing too much. And I was like, listen, I got all the energy now. I don't know what I'm going to feel like after I graduate high school and if I even want to do this. I just want to be
Yeah.
done with school. And I just gave it everything I had. And so it's just something that's just always been in me. I've just always been team too much. I can't just do one thing and just be like, all right, I'll just settle for the one. I'm just always like, okay, what else? What else can I do? What else?
Well, I hope you scheduling in some self-care on
Oh, of
this.
course, I do. I'm very big in meditation. I do hot yoga, music. Sometimes for me, self-care is just like listening to music, even
Mm-hmm.
while I work. So even though I'm working, I'm still like zoning out. I love my wine. I definitely no, I do find me time.
That's good. Good. Because I'm learning how to balance that too. Because I used to be one of those people who would literally sit on my computer all day or just
Mhm.
be working on something all day. And it would be like almost 7 o'clock. I'm like, you have not eaten. Like, you have not
Yep,
eaten today.
yep, yep.
So,
I've been guilty of that. I've just been like, oh, I probably should eat. And
mm-hmm.
you just don't realize it because you're just so into what you're doing. You're just so yeah. I even now I from time to time I get guilty
Yeah.
of it because depending on what it is that I'm working on, I'm just so focused on what it is. And even like my laptop, I had to take the laptop out of my bedroom because I was one of those people that would be up, work, 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 close it, put it beside me, go to sleep, wake up, open it back up, work, work, work. And then
Yeah.
by the time you realize hours has gone by, time has gone by, and you're like, I've been sitting in this bed all day. Like, I probably should get up.
Sounds like my life or how I used to be. Definitely. So for our friends in beauty that want to start like a physical product line, what are some steps that you could recommend that they take? And as far as like manufacturers too, like how did you go about finding your manufacturer that you trust to, deliver
Good
your
old,
products?
good old Google. I went and I just started researching manufacturers in the US, and I just looked at their work. I just really looked at the presentation of their website. I read about what they did. I called them to get like samples of their products just to see what the quality is. Because just because people make lipstick doesn't necessarily mean you'll be amazed on how every lipstick can still feel different and be different, even though it's just lipstick.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just trial and error. I just tried a bunch of people until I found one that I felt was like the right fit for me. But for anybody who's like trying to start a product, I would just say go for it. Like, because there's room for everybody. Like, even though some people would say that a market is unsaturated, a lot of time people fall in love with the story, not necessarily the product. Because just think about Beyonce or Rihanna or whatever. What they're selling is no different than anything else, but it's because they're them and people
Right.
love them. And it's just kind of like, well, I like you and these look dope, so let me buy it. Or I've followed your journey this whole entire time, so I'm going to support it. So I would just
Mm-hmm.
say go for it. Do your research, know what it is that you're getting into. Um, and test it out. Like use your friends, your family, if it's something that people can wear, have them test it out, get feedback, get opinions, and I just say just go for it.
Yeah. Would you recommend like starting off with small quantity first and then like how does the funding work? Because I know sometimes that holds people back with it. I know people going like Alibaba, stuff like that, and you got to order like 500 units for X amount. So like it ends up being like a lot of money up front. Is there a
Hmm.
way that people could like save money on the front end?
Well, one thing that you had said was definitely in terms of starting small. If I could have done it all over again, that is definitely one thing I would have done because I came out with too many colors at one time.
Mm,
And I'm like, I should have just started off with five and then build. Like I literally had like over 60 something colors.
oh wow.
Right. Right. And as I said, it's like in the
Sitting
moment,
there like
everything
this, mixing.
in the moment, everything sounds like a good idea because, like I said, the adrenaline is pumping. You're just like, oh, because I'm thinking, like, yeah, everyone needs a variety. You can't just do five. Because, like, what if those people don't like that five? Like, they need to see everything. And it's kind of like, no, people like what you show them. If it
Mm,
doesn't exist, they can't fall in love with it. They can always say, hey, maybe you should do this or recommend. And then you can add to it. And at least it gives people a reason to come back because then you also
mm,
don't realize you have to store all of these colors. So imagine trying to store
yeah.
60 something colors. Like it was madness. But in terms of small quantities, once again, research, because I did the same thing too. I didn't have the funds to buy 25,000 pieces of anything. So I literally go on Google. I'm very specific with my words, like small quantity, wholesale, stuff like that. And I go beyond the first page. Sometimes I'm like on page 25.
Right.
Like I dig deep because you would be surprised on everyone just thinks like, oh, the first page is it. No, the first page is where everyone is going to. There's so many hidden gems that are in there. Like, for instance, when I was doing my casing, I had found someone who was ordering from China and they would break it down and would actually sell smaller quantities of the cases and stuff like that. we developed such a good connection that it was like an older woman, and she wanted to give me the business. She was just like, do you want, but she was in Arizona. That was another thing too. I was just like, as great as it sounds and as eager as I am to add more businesses to my catalog, I was just like, where am I going to house all of these cosmetic tubes and cases? I was like, this is something that is just beyond. I need like a whole warehouse. And then I'm thinking,
Wow.
like, the anxiety kicked in. And I was just like, as much as I would love to help you and take your business, I was just like, no. Can you just tell me who the supplier that you get from? Like, just give me that little gem, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that. You can just, I don't know what you're gonna do with the rest of that stuff, but and she was nice enough to give it to me, and of course they're in China, and I would reached out to them, and of course this is now years later when I'm in a position to where I can afford to do like custom made things and that. But yeah, I started off looking for low quantity
Mm-hmm. I
and
love
just
that.
going on Google.
Yeah, I love that. Research is everything.
It is. And it's like, and that's another thing is like a lot of people want to make the money. They just don't want to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do the work because I honestly believe anything that comes easy, you will lose it just as quick.
Mm.
And you have to put your blood, sweat, and tears in it. So it's like, it's not going to kill you to click past the first 3 or 4 pages. Like, if this is something that you really want to do, like, research it, do the
Mm-hmm.
work. It'll pay off in the long run.
Yeah. So you've been doing the House of Uni since 2014, right? So you
That's when
feel
I
like it's at
started.
a point now where it's kind of like running on its own?
It is, but then I feel like I'm at that stagnant level because for many years I always wondered, like, well, what was next for it? Um, and then through then is when I decided that, okay, it's not going to be a full-fledged cosmetic line. It's just going to be lipstick. But then as time goes on, there's like other things that I like and other things that I'm into because originally when I modeled, I always had a dream of creating like the plus size version of Victoria's Secret. Not lingerie wise, but you know, like how when you go into Victoria's Secret, you have clothing, you have body sprays, you have like
Mm.
little different things. So I always wanted that. I always wanted like, I guess you could say a house, because that's where the whole house, that like the name actually took thought and stuff into it. Because for me, it was like House of Uni. I wanted to pretty much build a house that I can put multiple things in. Um, and so it wasn't like specific to just like swimwear or
Mm.
whatever, because I didn't really know the direction of where the brand was going to go. And then uni is one. So one house. And it's also a play on words of you and I, because I'm all about unity
Yes.
together. Right. So it's like, yeah, I wanted, so as things go on, I'm still really trying to figure out the brand, but I've recently decided to add candles. So later this month, scented candles are launching. So
I
I feel like
saw
now,
that. And I
yes,
like the name blouse and skirt. I
right.
laughed when I saw that.
Right. I remember I told my cousins in DC about it, and she was just like, "You and these names," and she just laughed. And I was like, "Listen, if I'm gonna stay true to the culture,
That's
like
so funny.
I need to stay true to the culture." Because also on the website, in the description, I kind of put like a definition, so it's like a dictionary. Because I feel like it's also a learning curve. People are
Mm-hmm.
going to the islands, they hear these terms, but do they really know what it is? So I just think
Right.
it's fun to just educate. So yeah, blouse and skirt, vacay mode, and we jam.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about those. I've been like, that's what I was working on during the pandemic. Same process with that, mixing, doing the whole candles thing, finding the manufacturer, doing the back and forth, finding the containers, get it, like just the whole work with it. And then to finally, and I ran into so many setbacks because especially during COVID where things were being delayed and
Yep.
shipping and things weren't coming on time and I still kept pushing through. So to finally see like when I first held the finished product and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, you know, you feel happy, like my blood, sweat, and tears is finally So now I think the line House of Uni is more going into self-care. So I'm thinking that's the direction where I'm going. So it won't just be lipsticks or cosmetics, but all the feel goods. Because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's who I am. That's what I like. That's what I represent. So I want all the feel goods, body sprays, candles, lipsticks, just all the things that make you happy and make your soul happy.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the thoughtfulness of your name, of the name of the brand, because I'm like a serial, I like to watch YouTube a lot. And then, YouTube just suggests all these other videos based off of what you watch. So I watch a lot of like business podcasts, and a lot of the things on my YouTube now is like product development and how people are starting their Shopify stores, the product brands and stuff like that. And one of the things that I saw recently was like, really, like, if you really don't know the direction of your brand, or just like not boxing your brand in, like creating a name that's like kind of universal, where you can continue to grow and like add, things as you go. And it's not just like lipstick or nails or, just
Right.
I like that a lot.
And that's how I was because like I'm very over analytical too. So just by just I can't help it. Like I always have to think of A, B, C, D. Like I have to think as far out. So everything that I do, I just like you said, I didn't want to just be boxed in. And I think that kind of comes from even modeling. Because if you think about it, even with modeling, I was like, why do I gotta just do this one thing? Why can't I just do everything? Like I wanna
Mm-hmm.
so I just have a issue with just being stuck to one thing. Like I don't like to be boxed in. So
Yeah.
I think my brands and things just represent that. Because even with the Airbnb, I have nice, high class people who love luxury, serenity, quiet. And then I also have in the heart. Like Dominican music is playing, you can hang out the window, yell to the corner, so like, hey, can you bring me some water? And they'll deliver it. And it's like night and day. And I feel like they both have a purpose because you have some people who want the true cultural experience, and
Yeah.
then you have some people who want to be bougie and just be like, no, I don't want to hear all that. I just want to be quiet and I want my nice things that I'm used to when I'm
Mm-hmm.
back home. And even with that, it's like I love giving variety. I don't want to be boxed into one thing.
Yeah. So with everything that you have going on, do you feel like there's one business in particular that gets the most attention right now?
Well, the Airbnbs because it's the most recent
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm trying to launch by July, August, hopefully. So definitely that. But usually I spread the love evenly amongst everything because House of Uni is still there. So I can't neglect it. So it's still like trying to find time and schedule to just give every, project its own attention and love.
Mm-hmm. What's your like day to day look like? Like what's a typical day in the life of you balancing or not balancing everything?
Well, I'm up at 4 a.m. every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And people are just like, why are you up at such an ungodly hour? One, I'm just an early riser. I wake up, I meditate for about an hour. Um, I get dressed. Sometimes, depending on my mood, I might go to the gym for 5 a.m. So I might do the gym in the morning or I'll do the gym in the evening. And I'm pretty much just glued to the computer and my phone all day. I'm texting my assistant in DR. I'm checking emails, responding to emails. It just depends on if I have a shoot or not. Now thinking about it, when you said does one thing get more attention, there is one thing that has kind of gotten the least amount of attention, which would be my photography. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't shoot as much because I'm so focused on all these other things. And I feel like if I am shooting, it should be tied into my brands at the
Mm-hmm.
moment until those are up and running. So if it's not a shoot for House of Uni, so I don't pretty much do a lot of outside work anymore.
Yeah.
So if people contact me, I kind of reroute them and refer them to someone else, because the reality is I really just don't have the time. And even though I get it, like people are coming specifically to me because they want to work with me, but you see how much different stuff is going on. Like
Right.
something has to give. And it's just like, if I'm going to shoot, I want to shoot for the things that I'm working on that's going to make sense. And then when everything is up and running, then maybe I can dibble dabble into it. I mean, I do miss it. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I miss that creative part of it, but it's just about being responsible and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you're up at 4 a.m., you may go to the
Oh yeah.
gym,
See, thank you. See, just
and then the
forgot
rest
about
of the
it.
day
Up
you're
at
just
4
like
a.m.
glued.
Right. It's just juggling. Sometimes it might be doing rum punch orders. Sometimes it's because even with that, it's still fairly new. Um, well, she's been doing it for a few years, but now we finally like perfected it. Got the labels done. We already had the bottles. Like now it looks legit. I feel like it has my stamp of approval on it to where I'm just like, hello world, look at this. Come drink.
Yeah.
Because we call them island creepers. So they're not rum punch because right.
They go creep up
See,
on you.
right. Because you drink them and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And you go. And you're just like, woo, okay. Right. So it is definitely, it's a creeper. So
Mhm.
it's like doing stuff with that, doing house. I'm literally just juggling whatever comes up. There is no set structured day,
Mhm.
except for like if I have something at a specific time at a specific day. But other than that, I'm winging it every day.
I'm glad to hear that, honestly, because it's like this misconception sometimes that like everybody just has it all together. And I think you just kind of just got to do what you got to do, like until you get to that point where you have it all together. I don't even know if people ever have it
No,
all
you
together.
never, and that's the thing. I People, like you said, it's a misconception. On social media, everyone likes to make it seem like everything is perfect, and it's not. Trust and believe, them people on social media is stressed out, crying. Like recently, I just seen Lizzo had did a post where, she was saying how she feels alone and but yet every time we see Lizzo, she always laughing, right? So
Yeah.
then to see that side of her, and it's like so many people were just like, sis, I feel you. Like, I feel the same. They could relate. And that's what I'm saying. No matter how well put, like, I think people forget that we're all humans at the end of the
Hmm.
day. And we don't, no one knows what they're doing. Even celebrities, when they release a song, you think they know it's going to be number one? No, that's why they're shocked. That's why they're shocked when they win awards, because we just do what we think and just hope that the world receives it.
Right.
And if they do, great. If they don't, trust me, people get sad, they get depressed, but we just don't spend a lot of time talking about feelings, and especially with it being mental health awareness month.
Right.
Like these are the times that we need to talk about, and so trust me, I'll be the first one to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I give it up to the ancestors, to the
Yes. Give it up.
universe, right? Because they're the ones that keep me afloat. I just, from as long as my eyes open, I'm just like, all right, what we doing today, y'all?
Hmm.
And there's times that I have things to do, and if my spirit just says, mm-mm, I won't do it. I'm one of those people that listen to my gut feeling. I don't second guess it, because in the past, you don't listen to your gut, then something happens, and then you go, oh my gosh, I should have listened. And then
Hmm.
something happens again, and you don't listen. And it's like, oh my gosh, I should have listened. So after a few of those, I was just like, okay, I'm listening. If you
Right.
say no, I'm not even going to ask why. It's just no. And if you say, okay, cool, we rocking. I'll figure out the reason why eventually.
Yeah.
So no, I don't have it together. It's
Right.
okay to not have it together. You will be human if you don't have it together.
And I love the fact that you mentioned your ancestors, because I'm learning this concept of like surrendering, of like just letting it go. Your ancestors, God, universe, whoever you believe in, just like
Right.
really just relinquishing some of that control that we have as humans to want to direct every single step of the way of how our lives are supposed to be. Like it's going to be whatever it's supposed to be.
Right.
So as long as you're putting in, the work that you need to put in, you have to really like just release that control of the outcome. So
Right.
I'm
And
really
there's
like
like
learning
always
that.
this saying of, you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans.
Right.
Right. Like, you gonna tell God how this gonna go. Okay, cool. Let's see how this works out for you. So yes, I learned at a very young age. There are times I would drop down to my knees and cry and be like, listen, y'all win.
Mm-hmm.
Take over. Like, I don't, like, clearly I tried it my way and it ain't working. So
Mm-hmm.
here y'all go. And every time I do that, things work out. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. And then sometimes you get caught up in the moment and you forget.
And it
But
happens
then
again.
there's that time, right? Then there's a time again where you just get tired. You are just like, I'm tired. I can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I surrender. And it seems like every time you say that, it's like, cool, we got you, sis. And then everything goes, and it's like ongoing until eventually you just learn, like, listen, you can't do this by yourself.
Right.
The higher power, the higher being, the answers, like you said, whoever you believe in, somebody is helping you. Somebody is watching you. Somebody is protecting you. Let them do what they do.
Right.
Consult with them. Sometimes people would think I'm a crazy person. I'll be driving, having a whole conversation. You would think I'm on the phone. Nope. I'm just talking to whoever listening. The energy that I'd be like, listen, I'd be all in the shower, just be
Mm-hmm.
having a whole conversation. I just have a conversation whenever. And I don't even care. You think I'm crazy or not, but I need them. So yes, and that's why I told you I sat right there in DR and my boyfriend came out and he saw tears and he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, they're tears of joy. I was like, I was just talking to the ancestors. He was like, well, what were we saying to the ancestors? I was like, listen, don't be trying to make fun of my
That's between me
ancestors.
and the
Right.
ancestors. Okay.
Exactly. That's how I feel too. Like, no, me and them had a one-on-one. You don't worry about the conversation. Just
Mm-hmm.
know they got me.
Right, right. Oh my gosh. So Kumiko, what are you working on your legacy to be? What do you want your legacy to be when this is all said and done?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Mm-hmm.
I I just want to have an impact, whatever that means. And I think it goes back to like what you were saying with the whole control thing is because what I may think I want my legacy to be may not even be what it is. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can't determine what people take away from what it is that I'm doing. I can't determine how I inspire
Yeah.
anyone. How, so it's, as long as I do something, whatever that something is
Mm-hmm.
for you, I feel good. At this moment, I just feel blessed that I can provide jobs for
Mm-hmm.
people. Like, it's one thing to, like, this is also another thing. And I have this conversation with my mom a lot. Like, people frown upon billionaires or rich people, and figure, like, well, why do they have all this money? Why do they need this? But people don't realize without these people, you wouldn't have a job because poor people can't fund the business and pay
Mm-hmm.
you and do all this. Like, you have to kind of give them credit because it started from a small idea and they had to scale it to be able to be at a point to pay all these people,
Right.
whether it's every week, every 2 weeks. And if they don't have their stuff together, you won't have a job. So they still have to keep figuring on how to keep the business afloat. And I don't think people give business owners like enough credit. I get it, as the worker, you just say, well, I'm just clocking into this job, just do my little
Yeah.
hours, collect my little check. But imagine if it was your business and you had to run this. So a lot of times I'm grateful, especially for the Dominican Republic, where they don't really make that much. And to be able to provide a job, and then not only when I do provide these jobs, I try not to pay them the minimum of what everyone else is paying. I try to pay them more. Why? Because I know, I feel like we're all in this together. No matter what walk of life we come from, we all are looking for financial freedom. We
Mm-hmm.
all are looking to have fun in what it is that we're doing. We're all looking for that escape, that answer, that whatever. The only difference is we're just in a better position than them because the US dollar is stronger over there. But technically in the US, we just like them, struggling, trying to
Right.
figure it out, trying to make it. So I try to connect and relate like that and to understand that like these people are relying on me in order to feed their families.
Mm-hmm.
And so it goes back to like what the legacy is. I just want to touch people and reach people however I just do it. Like I try not to even, I don't got that figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love it. I love the honesty and the just, I love it. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. I feel like we've known each other like forever. I
Right.
could talk
Like
to you forever. I'm over here looking at the time like I should probably let her go.
I know I thought about that too. I was like, are we on a time limit? I was like, well, she got this. But it's like, when you're having good conversation, you don't
Yeah.
really want to just end good conversation.
Yeah, we definitely have to keep in touch for sure so we can
We
continue
will.
chatting.
And I love DC. So the next time I'm in DC, trust and believe, I will be
Yes,
hitting you up.
come through. Yes, ma'am. So before I let you go, I have to ask you the
Oh,
Friends and Beauty rapid fire questions. So whatever comes to your mind first, I know you will do amazing. Just, spit it out.
okay.
Right. The first one is, what are your top three keys to your success so far?
Top three keys. Prayer. um, Strong support system, and music.
Mm. How do you measure your success?
I measure my success based on the people that I reach and people that I affect.
Mm-hmm.
So people who say like, oh my gosh, you were an inspiration, or I really like that. To me, I did something right if I'm getting that type of feedback.
Mm-hmm. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Block out all the noise.
Mm, I love that. I need that one.
Right.
I
Just
need that one
block it
for
all
myself.
out. Right.
Yes. What advice would you give to someone who's just ready to give up on their dreams of being a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, a boss?
Never give up. The only person, no dream, I honestly believe in this, like no dream is big enough. Anyone who tells you that your dream is crazy is somebody who has already given up on their dream.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's something that you love and you're passionate about, because I'll even be honest, I know this is supposed to be rapid
That's
questions,
fine.
but even with me doing as much as I do, I have had those moments where I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. And then I have one of those, girl, stop playing. What you gonna do if you stop? Like, this is you. It's in you. Like, you. So I think it makes a huge difference when you're passionate about what you do and you're not just doing it for the money. When you're doing it for the money, then cool. It's easy to toss it to the side. But when you really love it, we're talking about you ain't getting no sales, ain't nobody booking you, ain't nobody calling you,
Mm-hmm.
and you still got, even as a makeup artist, you still got to find people do makeup to promote your work. Like you still have to, like, working for free isn't necessarily a bad thing. You still have to, to brush up on your craft and stuff like that. So you just keep going, because perfect example, Jeff Bezos with Amazon. We've all
Yes.
seen that picture that float around when he had that little sign posted on his wall, and he went to it for like, I think 14 years before he actually saw a profit. To some people, they would have been gave up after like year 2 or 3. But imagine, look at what Amazon is now,
Right.
because he stuck to it. So that year 15, look at that. So you just never know when your breakthrough is gonna come. So just keep going.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to your ancestors.
Talk to your ancestors. They got you. What's a resource that has helped you in your business that you can share with the Friends and Beauty community?
Well, everybody already know about Google. Like Google has, I still use Google to this day for anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
Google, anything you want to know, literally. Google got you.
Right. I'll be teasing my boyfriend sometime. He'll ask me questions. I'm like, Google it. Like,
Right.
even if I know the answer, I'm like, Google it, because
Right.
like you need to do the research for yourself.
Right. Because if someone just gives you the answer all the time, then it stunts your growth. You would just always expect for people to hand you the answers. And then how do you even know that they're handing you the right answer?
Yeah.
People will then start lying to you and telling you anything that they want because they see like, oh, you'll just listen to anything anyway. So yeah, even if like someone can't tell me that the sky is blue, I'll be like, oh, okay.
Right. Let me go to Google, see.
Right. Well, why is the sky blue? And I'll be like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never take somebody's word for something. I'll do my own research.
I love that. And the last one, I want you to fill in the blank. I want you to say, my name is blank, and the key to longevity and success is whatever you think it is.
My name is Kumiko Ming, and the key to longevity is dedication.
That's good. Yes, dedication. I love it. Thank you so much. Before you go, share all of your social media or information of how you want to be found by people.
My photography / personal page is on Instagram is at KM Bombshell. My website, kmbombshell.com, houseofuni.com for the lipstick, self-care line, speaking that into existence.
Mm-hmm.
At House of Uni, House of Uni on all social media platforms. Jam Flavor is JAMNFLVA. So like jam in Florida, Virginia. That's a nice way to kind of remember it. The website is still in the works, but the Instagram page is up. And that's pretty much it for right now. The Airbnb stuff isn't up yet. So, but if they follow me on, my personal stuff, it'll all be connected sooner or later.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this episode with at least one friend in beauty, and subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so that other friends in beauty can find this show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.